You're pretty excited for Beetlejuice. Well, its sequel, actually.
Yes, Beetlejuice.
Yes, that one there. I think I'm reasonably excited for it as well, I would say so. I hadn't watched the first one in a little while.
Wait, Mike, when did you get here?
That's Mike Gambaro.
Sorry, guys.
Oh my God, the juice is loose.
I tried so hard to keep it in.
No,
No, like juice
That's what
is
she
literally
said.
loose.
Did you ruin the suit at all? No Pepsi on the suit.
This suit got ruined once I put it on.
I was going to think something. I was like, I'm not going to say it.
The monthly movie marathon has returned once more, September edition.
And we have the most special of guests.
Yes, and we say that with love. Mike Gambaro's fitting in perfectly.
I feel like this is going to be your most unhinged episode yet.
And you know what? We
It
love
already
that sort of
has been.
stuff. The reason you are here, especially for this episode, is because you are a fan of Tim Burton as a
Massively.
director. Huge Tim Burton fan. So I do want to ask you, what was the first Tim Burton film you saw?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Thanks.
And you know what?
That's why we're interviewers. He's just like, he's like, suck him off some more.
You know what? It was
Like,
actually...
it's the most basic fucking
It's good, but I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
I like
You
it.
know what? I had respect for you as an interviewer until you just asked me the most basic...
You might as well just ask me what my favorite day on set was.
Mate, you may as well just ask me a movie that I've never seen.
Do you have a favorite story from set?
Oh, you
No,
laugh,
you'd be-
but it's like
you'd be shocked how many times we hear that.
we hear it.
You know what? I completely understand.
yeah.
Like, the first Tim
First Tim
Burton
Burton
movie
film.
I've ever saw was Mars Attacks, believe it or not.
Interesting.
Wow.
And I was like I'm going to say 6 years old.
Right.
And I remember seeing
It's quite young for that film.
Well, I mean, I was left a lot to my own devices. Like,
We can tell.
Do you wanna-
That checks out.
Do you want
Saw was
to
one of my
talk?
favourites.
Do you want to talk about that? Is that that's for another podcast?
Hi, I'm Mike. I've been so for about 5 minutes. Sorry. No, as I saw Mars Attacks, and I was fucking terrified. Oh, we're allowed to swear, yeah?
Yeah, you can swear.
Cool.
You can swear.
Oh no,
After-
we draw the line at swearing after talking about sex
Shut
offenders.
the fuck up, Pete. Let me fucking talk my fucking story. Hey, listen, I had a great day on set. Thanks for fucking asking.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
I
I'll
was,
pay that one.
I was
that was
fucking
pretty good.
terrified. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I was absolutely like scarred to the point where I never wanted to watch a Tim
It was
Burton movie
it was
ever
the
again.
aliens. I'm guessing in that, like
Yes.
and they're killing a
And
lot of
it was,
people. in that.
no, what scarred me was when it's the which I'm sure. Are we just going straight into Mars Attacks?
We
now?
will initially. No, we will soon. But
All right, well,
you keep telling your story. Yeah, tell us about what scared you though.
Well, no, it was the opening. It was. What are you looking at?
You, Mike.
Ah,
Oh,
wow.
oh, we might need to do our own podcast.
Now I'm jealous. What the fuck?
No, it was the scene where Pierce
Yeah.
Brosnan and Sarah Jessica Parker, they're sitting there, and the Emperor has his initial
yes.
address to Earth.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
scared the fuck
Interesting.
out of me.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And then,
I get that.
and then I never watched another Tim Burton movie until I realized that one of my favorite movies of all time, Batman Returns,
Well, there we
Tim
go.
Burton movie,
Hold
and
on.
I watched everything
Pete's
else.
about to come in his pants. That is genuinely his
That's
favorite
my favorite movie.
movie of all time.
Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Are you fucking joking?
No, he's 110%
Legit.
serious.
Do you like?
yeah.
Do you know like?
How do I not know this?
You
that's
obviously haven't listened to any of the podcasts.
I listen to bits and pieces.
I will say in fairness, we haven't talked about Batman Returns in a long time,
No,
but it
but
was heavily featured.
legitimately,
on the
legitimately.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that movie when I was 8 years old, and Michelle Pfeiffer's performance honestly just changed things for me. And then that made me just want to watch more of her movies. And then I think watching more of her movies then made me sort of reach into this whole other, just because she didn't make movies for kids. Really.
That's good. No, that's a fair point, actually.
So, like,
Grease too.
Grease, but I mean, like, but this was like Dangerous Liaisons, Fabulous Bakerball, like all those sort of movies.
Oh,
and
I see what you're saying. Right,
Yeah.
But you weren't watching her other films. Yeah.
But like that movie just made me fall in love with film. And then obviously Tim Burton as a director in his earlier years was much stronger. But Batman Returns is genuinely my favorite movie of all time.
See,
There we
like
go.
my Letterboxd top 4 is Batman Returns,
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show, Evil Dead 2,
Ooh, I
and
like that.
then What We Do in the Shadows. That's my Letterboxd
Oh,
top
that's a
4.
good pick, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. I like that.
I knew that.
Man,
Have you
man,
ever
I
seen a
love
live where they do the dancing in front of the? Sorry, have you participated? Then is my next question.
Yes,
That's
I
cool.
did a Red Hill Cinemas one when I was working at Red Hill Cinemas.
I remember that.
And,
Mr. Movie Man.
Mr. Movie Man. But I remember I did that and I dressed up as Frankenfurter as a nurse. I've got
Oh,
photos.
that's great.
I'll send you the photos. Might send
We'll
it
put
to
them
Nick.
up.
I might send it to Nick. Not.
We might have to.
It's all right. I've got a good imagination.
Oh shit!
It's scary good.
No, we're getting sidetracked. I know
Yeah.
Halloween
So-
special. Let's do Rocky. Horror.
But also, okay, going from that, Nick, what was your first Tim Burton movie?
Oh, Pete, that's a great question.
Thank you, Nick.
It probably was. Actually, no. I actually think it was Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
I think it was Edward Scissorhands, and I remember watching it on Channel 10 growing up. Like that's I remember. So it was probably a heavily edited version, but Edward Scissorhands was the one I most remember watching, which is. Yeah, I really liked.
Such
I haven't
a
seen it in a long
beautiful
time.
movie.
I haven't seen it in a long
So
time
beautiful.
though. I need to watch it again. But I am a Edward fan. What about you then, Pete? Was it Batman Returns? You reckon?
No, my first one was Batman.
Of course.
So
the first film.
I was 5 or 6, and I remember we were in the UK,
Yep.
and we went to the UK because it was like my father had passed away, and Mum was like, let's just
Yeah.
get you out of here and blah, blah, blah. And I remember seeing the film, and then there was a toy store in the UK, and it was like just decked out with everything Batman, like
Yeah, right.
insanity.
I remember, I feel like you've spoken about the mild controversies around Batman and Batman Returns having so many kids' toys for it, despite being like quite darker
specifically
films, right?
Batman Returns really copied
Sure.
the
Yeah,
shit
the
for
Mac,
it.
the Macca's
The Mac,
stuff.
yeah. But like Batman,
Interesting.
And I remember being.
Oh,
Shut up, Siri.
she'll remember you saying that.
And I went into this toy store, and it was like me, my brother, and our family friend, and this is like something that's like stuck with me.
Yeah. Formative
That-
memory.
It was like they had Batman, the Joker everywhere, and Mum was like, "Okay, just make sure you don't get lost in the store." And then standing behind me,
Yeah.
which is what I thought was a mannequin of the Joker,
Oh my God.
was just a
Jerry
person
Jones.
was just a person dressed up as the Joker.
Yeah.
Who was like was being still, and then after that,
Terrifying.
then went, "Don't get lost, kids." And I was like,
So back.
"Can you just think of
the
Jack-
most terrifying thing
the-
you could.
like Jack Nicholson Joker in the
Yeah,
purple suit,
yeah.
the white face, the big red, like that already on its own is terrifying, and then
Yeah.
coming to life
Yeah.
and talking to a 6-year-old kid going,
There's only-
"Don't get lost."
there's
That
only
is
one thing.
nightmare fucking.
There's
fuel.
only one thing scarier than that.
O.J. Simpson.
Jerry Jones. We're back to full circle.
But that was my first Tim Burton movie,
Right.
And then obviously Batman Returns just like completely changed everything. But then I remember seeing pretty much every Tim Burton movie growing up.
And are you a Burton fan?
I am, but I prefer his
Earlier
Earlier
work.
stuff. Not
Are
when he's trapped
you-
in a Disney contract.
Yeah.
Are you the same? Because I
yeah.
know you're a massive Burton head.
I'm a massive
so-
Burton fan, but yeah, I agree with Pete. Like,
Yeah.
Miss pedigrees and stuff like that. It was not they were
We-
stylized enough.
But like that run of like Beetlejuice, Batman, Batman Returns, Edward Scissorhands, like Ed Wood.
Yeah.
I love Ed Wood.
I've never-
People need to talk about Ed Wood.
I've
It's
never
such a
seen it,
Great
actually.
fucking
I
movie.
do need to watch it.
It's on Disney Plus.
Hey, there we go. I'll fit
And
it
then
into my schedule.
I'm even a little bit of a fan of Dark Shadows.
I love Dark Shadows.
Oh, I fucking forgot he made that.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too.
It does kind
Yeah,
of
right.
it does kind of go a little bit
I'd
off
sex
the
that
rails at
movie.
the end.
You had sex
But-
that movie. Well done.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
No, this is the sort of stories we do enjoy. Yeah.
But yeah, I have a soft spot for that because I think Eva Green in that movie is fucking.
So you have a
incredible.
soft spot. He
and
had a
also,
hard spot for it.
and I mean Michelle Pfeiffer's in it, so like yes.
She's so fucking cool though. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, just the best.
I feel like you two are going to start a Michelle Pfeiffer podcast.
She's like the
I'll sit
at
on
the
the
top.
top
She's
as
at like
well.
the top of like who I'd want to interview. the
That's your
most.
That's the bucket list.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the bucket list. Okay. Well, the reason we're talking all things Tim Burton is because. Oh, that's very sweet.
we made
Sit in the
a
corner and
mutual
fuck
connection.
myself.
We can watch if you want.
The camera's already out.
Yeah, like Nick's gonna be able to reach to do that. Okay.
Yeah, you got to get through me, bitch.
Wait a second. How the fuck did this turn on me? Beetlejuice is coming out in Australian cinemas September 5, courtesy of our good friends at Warner Brothers.
Whoop, whoop.
I love
So,
Warner Brothers.
we're obviously going to talk about Beetlejuice today, the
love Warner
1988. I got,
88,
I
yes.
got the year right this
Yes,
time.
88.
Original film. But before we get that, we actually put it out to everyone on Instagram
Yes.
for what Tim Burton film and what Michael Keaton film that wasn't Beetlejuice that you wanted us to talk about. And I will say this. Results varied.
I was shocked with what was chosen.
What was chosen is shocking, but the eclectic list of shit that came through was wild.
Like, okay,
Wild.
If it was just up to us to choose
Ooh.
a Burton or Keaton, what were you like, and what were you initially thinking?
I kind of wanted to do Edward Scissorhands because I was like, childhood.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, you remember that cameo role he had in Need for Speed? No, I do want to know. Keaton would have been interesting. I don't know another performance that's been close to like the energy of Beetlejuice. That's not like, I don't know, the other guys. Like that comedy sort of thing. So I actually don't know what I would have picked for him.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad we landed on what we did with Keaton because I think that harnesses elements
Admittedly,
of
that was
Beetlejuice.
one of the ones that I thought of.
And Spotlight would have been too
Yeah,
depressing.
Spotlight was kind of what I think that's what I would have chosen.
Could you imagine trying to go
if
from
we
Spotlight
if we were going to talk,
Beetlejuice, we were like, well, we've just
I feel like everything we spoke about earlier might not have been said.
if we knew we were coming into Spotlight,
Don't make me feel bad now.
But I'm saying Spotlight and what we ultimately landed on were the two that I was like, I feel like this would be
right.
If I got to choose Burton, I would have been Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, I love
that would be
Sleepy
a good.
Hollow.
That
Like
would have been
Batman
a great
Returns would have just been too easy because it would have just been me being like,
Sleepy Hollow's great, though.
And it would
And you
have
know what? I'm sure people are all for that, but they probably also like, can you talk about anything else? And
Sure.
Sleepy Hollow is fucking incredible.
Sleepy Hollow is great. I do
It's
love
so
Sleepy Hollow,
fucking
yeah.
good.
You,
Well, there we go.
You know what movie? Like thinking off the back of that, I was going through my personal favorite movie collection and my Blu-rays and things, and a Michael Keaton movie, The Founder.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Underrated.
I'm so incredibly underrated. I
Yeah.
believe that's one of it's up there with one of Keaton's best performances.
He didn't get nominated for that, did he?
No. He
did.
I feel like that was
didn't.
that was like that was kind of a shock though, wasn't it?
Massive.
Because it felt like he was like
he should
kind
have
of
at
a
least got a
shoo-in, right?
nomination.
yeah,
nomination.
yeah.
But yeah,
That's
I realized I never actually
underrated
said that
movie,
to you
actually.
guys on the on your Instagram stories. When I
No,
put it
but
up.
because
true, yeah.
the stuff that was getting picked for Michael Keaton,
yeah, it was wild.
like I had someone been like, Herbie Fully Loaded.
Sorry, we had some technical difficulties.
Hold on, do you want me to start the intro again?
do the whole thing.
The whole thing again.
Beetlejuice.
Showtime!
You know what I will say? You've sent me multiple voice messages today of you doing the Beetlejuice voice.
The juice is loose.
And it hasn't been, like, coming through my phone, I was like, fuck, he's actually got a Pat Keaton impersonation on him. So, props to you.
I'm really grateful to be here today, guys.
Nice fucking model.
Fuck up! Do you swear?
Well,
Fucking speak! I'm really, really excited to be here today, guys. If we're gonna do anything, I know exactly what you're fucking thinking about, Peter. I don't give a fuck. I fucked Michelle Pfeiffer back it all the way in 1991 before 1992 even fucking came out.
all right, we're back. Technical difficulties, but we're going to launch in. So with Beetlejuice coming out, you guys chose Mars Attacks for the Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
And Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance for the Michael Keaton film. And we're going to start with Mars Attacks because, as they say, start at the bottom, the only way's up. Mars Attacks might be the first film of Tim Burton's that Mike saw, but I'm sure hoping it's not the last one because this is not a good movie.
Not at all. It is aged badly.
I saw this when I was like 12.
Right.
I was in LA and I remember Mum was like, Tim Burton, we like
Sign
Tim
us
Burton. You look at this fucking cast and you're
Okay.
like,
Let's do that.
Jack Nicholson.
A stacked cast.
Jack Nicholson,
this cast's
Glenn
actually
Close,
ridiculous.
Annette Bening, Danny DeVito, Pierce Brosnan, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michael J. Fox, Jack Black, Sylvia Sidney, Christina Applegate, Natalie Portman, Lucas Haas, Martin Short.
Who else haven't
I'm
you
pretty
said?
sure
I think you
said
got
almost everybody.
everyone.
Tom
You say
Jones,
Tom Jones has
Tom
himself.
Jones.
Pam Grier,
Pam Grier does pop up. Christina Applegate.
Jodon Baker.
It wasn't until last night when I watched it, like Christina Applegate. I just completely forgot she was in
Who,
it.
but also it's the weirdest role for her because she doesn't.
Ray
there's
J?
Yeah, Ray J was
Yeah,
the
with
little
the
kid.
little kid.
Yeah.
Imagine Kim
how
Kardashian
good.
watching this with her kids now.
Yeah, true. And being just the Mars Attack sequel.
But the cast for this was like enough to kind of be like, surely all of these people, and I get like Tim Burton has that, like he just has that. He's able to just get people in his films,
At that point as well.
and at
he's
this
been,
point
he's
he'd
been
done.
making films for what, like almost 10 years.
And
This
he's
is 96?
and like
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
movie up to this point. I mean, this still made $100 million, but it was also made between 80 and $100 million.
Yeah, so I wouldn't call this a financial
but
success.
like up until this point,
yeah,
every movie he's done has pretty much been like
critically
not
financially
critically acclaimed,
successful,
financially
right?
successful. So I can see why. And obviously, I'm guessing a lot of these actors worked for scale because
Yeah.
none
and I
of them are getting like their big multi-million-dollar paychecks.
No, I think as well being an ensemble piece film,
Yeah.
you kind of go like, no one's in the movie for like longer than
To be-
probably like 15 to 20
to be
minutes
like
of screen
I'm
time.
the yeah.
I mean, Danny DeVito doesn't even have a name in the movie. It's just
Which is hilarious.
Rude gambler.
That's great. That
In
is
the
great.
credits, it's rude gambler.
But like
pretty
I remember
funny.
seeing this, and even as a 12-year-old, I remember being like, this wasn't great.
Yeah, so
And it was one of those ones that I thought I was kind of happy to rewatch it because I hadn't seen it in 28 years.
yeah, fuck, wow.
And
28 years.
part of me was like, maybe it was one of those ones that was like too adult and too sophisticated for me
Was
to
it
get as
too
a
ahead of
kid.
its time?
And then you watch it and you just go, nah.
No.
Like I get what he's trying to do by being like the old school like invasion Martian movie, and it's like the ensemble cast because those big disaster movies like to have those ensemble casts.
Yeah.
But this was just such a cycle, rinse, repeat movie for me.
It's
like
the same
none-
scenariio just with different people, right?
And like
Shit.
some of the actors and some of the characters are fun, but some of them are also like, I want you off this screen. I'm looking at you, Annette Bening.
You're...
I'm sorry, but her
Controversial.
flighty bimbo thing just annoyed the fuck out of me.
The one thing that annoyed me, especially after rewatching it, is that the whole entire movie could have not happened if a stupid fucking hippie didn't let up
a bird.
dove. But also, like, realizing as well, and one thing that I have a
what
lot of
is Tim
respect...
Burton saying there? What is Tim Burton?
And that's it.
What's he saying?
But
Peace
one
doesn't
thing,
solve anything.
Like, he himself is a fucking hippie. He should see the girls he slept with back in the day. Anyway, I'm gonna change back to topic. One thing that I actually really respect and love about this movie is the fact that there is still a story.
Yeah.
All right, and the source material came from the fact that it was just 60s playing cards.
Yes,
so it literally
that's
had
very
nothing.
interesting.
I guess we'd almost call that
nothing.
the flying source material.
Oh my fucking god! But you know what? Nah, I'll
come
pay
on,
it. I'll
come
pay it.
on.
I wasn't thinking it, so I'll pay it.
Yeah.
I normally think I have the funniest thoughts, but that has been proven wrong many times
And
today.
that's the funniest thought Nick has, thinking that he has the funniest thoughts.
I know it makes lots of people laugh, but at me. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm self-aware. 50.
OJ wasn't.
I don't even know if the initial OJ joke's making the cut.
Shit.
Yeah. So now it's just like he keeps bringing up OJ, and it's really weird. There's no context for
do
it.
it just
yeah.
to fuck around.
Yeah.
Why does he keep talking about
Talk
O.J.
about
Simpson?
flying source material.
What fucking OJ are you talking about? I'm just talking about the drink that I had for breakfast.
Orange.
The juice.
The juice is loose. 56% critically, 53 audience on Rotten Tomatoes, which, you know.
Probably higher than I would.
Well, here's the fucked up thing.
Only 86 reviews from critics.
Yeah, that's
though.
true. Yeah, and that's something Pete's actually brought up on 0 to 100 before. Is that a lot of these older films are only kind of getting
Yeah.
recognized in the last like 10, 15 years. So like someone just watched Mars Attacks and went, I'm RT certified.
This-
May as well put a review up.
This doesn't feel like one of his movies that's had a lot of resurgence. Like
No,
it's
no
not
one's-
one that you
no one's
hear about.
loving it.
And it seems kind of
Well, I mean, apparently not according to our audience.
yeah, which
It's
who
a
voted
real
for
guilty
it.
pleasure film.
But it's also,
Interesting.
but you know why I also think maybe that it's not
Interesting.
having a resurgence is because this is not available on any streaming service.
Yeah, no, it's,
Yeah, really
I had to pay
hard.
to
And
watch
I
it.
feel
yeah.
like the movies that are on streaming
So I'm
services
mad about
are the
that
ones that people are like, why did no one tell me about this? I'm like, we did when it
Yeah.
came out, and you just decided not to watch it. I'm looking at everybody now watching Furiosa who didn't go to see it in the cinemas. Fuck
yeah,
you all.
you guys fucking flopped on that.
But yeah, I just feel like if this was maybe on a streaming service,
Maybe.
possibly we'd see it like.
I always
have
assumed it was a
something.
Fox movie, so I looked at Disney Plus
Yeah,
first.
but no, I had to.
WB.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So, all right. Well, I'll quickly read this out. So, if you haven't seen Mars Attacks, you'll know what it's about. But a fleet of Martian space. Fuck me.
Would you like me to do the reading?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
A fleet of Martian spacecraft. I can't even read that right.
See how that sentence doesn't
It
make
A
doesn't
sense?
fleet of
sense.
Martian spacecraft surrounds the world's major cities, and all of humanity waits to see if the extraterrestrial visitors have, as they claim, come in peace. How fucking hard is that?
No, but read it again. A
Yeah, read it
fleet
again.
of Martian
Martian
space.
space-
Oh no, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry. No,
Yeah.
I'm just an idiot.
What did you say? Spacecrafts?
No, spacecraft
No,
can still.
yeah, it's plural. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was in your boat. Don't worry.
That's what's fucked me.
Pete actually went to university and stuff, so
Yuck. How's your hex stat? Anyway, sorry, move on.
I don't have any.
it'd be gone.
Oh, that's right. You're old,
I'm established.
and I'm growing in my pants.
Because you
He's
you're
embodied
because
so
you're
much of
because-
Beetlejuice
but I was like,
right now,
You're
'cause
growing in your
Beetlejuice
pants
is a
because
sex pest.
I was like, you're growing in your pants because you're attracted to authority. Hi, Mike.
I don't get it.
I think we've.
because it's because you're young and stupid.
Keep
That's
it a
okay.
bit harder.
Yeah.
Did you read the whole thing?
US President James Dale, played by Jack Nicholson, receives assurance from science professor Donald Kessler, played by Pierce Brosnan, that the Martian's mission is a friendly one. But when a peaceful exchange ends in the total annihilation of the US Congress, military men call for a full-scale nuclear retaliation. That right there sounds like a great movie.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It fully leaves out the part where the only reason they go to a full-scale nuclear retaliation is, as Mike said, a hippie puts a dove in the air and
Letting all the
alien thinks that's a threat.
Yep.
So, well, holy shit.
That got really annoying as well.
Yeah, I hated it. I did read though, because they didn't make up a language for them in the script. It was just
And they
for
just
the whole thing,
decided,
and I was like, "Yeah, we'll just make him sound like that." It is frustrating.
it's really
very annoying
because it's like, oh, this is what minions would sound like if they were like slow.
They are the
I
OG
didn't even
minions.
think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are.
but they're
Man.
not as funny.
No,
I will say it's the aliens.
I was
going
going
to
to use. I'll say it afterwards.
Just like just hold that thought. Hold that thought for the next hour or so. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
What do you mean? So what? Them like breathing on a window watching Christina Applegate get plowed wasn't funny?
So this is something I have to bring up about Tim Burton films.
They're horny as fuck.
They're horny as fuck, but they're very retrospectively problematically horny.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say about this movie because I did not. So here's the issue. It's a Tim Burton story made by Tim Burton that feels nothing like a Tim Burton movie. Anyone could have directed this film, and I would have not guessed it was Tim Burton.
I
You know what
agree
mean?
with you on that.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I feel
have his visual flair. It doesn't.
It has, but it has the audio flair thanks to Danny Elfman.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. The music
And it has
whimsical.
and it
100%.
obviously has like the fact that he's gotten all of these very established actors to just sort of really lean into like the wackiness that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of expect.
Even Jack Nicholson playing Artland.
Yeah,
as well
dual
as
role.
Yeah, the dual
And
role.
like I love there was a few like Glenn Close as like, you know, very prim and proper first lady, and when she's like taking the photo and she like pushes the guy out of the like, those little things are really funny.
These little
and,
bits of physical
the little quirks.
comedy.
and Sarah Jessica Parker when she's talking to Pierce Brosnan and he mentions something and then she like does like the and looks, those little things are really funny.
I think a
But
lot of the
overall,
people
it was
playing
like-
this up for
Yeah,
sure. Like
yeah.
I feel like the actors know what they're in.
Some of them do. I feel like not everybody's on the same level of camp.
I think this idea
Interesting.
because when did Ed Wood come out?
95.
It was before this, wasn't it? Yeah.
I reckon this would have been a movie where Tim... Bless you. Good
Thank
sir.
you, Mike.
I reckon this is a movie where Tim Burton's come in. He's done Ed Wood, and with Ed Wood being focused really on the B movie horror type thing.
Yeah,
He's then come in, done Mars Attacks, and gone, I'm going to do the B movie for the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then that's what he's tried to do, and it's just not
It
come
does
across.
have that feeling,
It's not
doesn't
come
it?
across
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I reckon that's what's happened.
Roger Corman would have made this film.
Yes. Ed
With
Wood
your
would have made this movie.
Ed Wood would have made this movie.
Good as Ed Wood.
It's so good.
You need to watch it.
Yeah, I know. I'll add it to my list.
What kind of movie would Ed
Once
Wood
you see
make
my
if
calendar,
Ed Wood
we'll find some room for it. Just when we think we have we go back off the rails.
But one of the things that I do appreciate about this movie, and it's kind of a through line with a lot of Tim Burton movies, is that I like that he just commits to it being kind of mean.
This is very
Like,
violent.
every
and very
character
mean.
pretty much dies in some way or
I think
another.
there's something like only 5 of the remaining main cast make it to the end of this film.
Like Natalie Portman, Lucas Haas, Sylvia Sidney,
Yep.
Pam Grier,
Yep.
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones.
Okay, so 6, and then
and the Ray
can't remember.
the
Jim-
boxer
Jim Brown.
But yeah,
Jim Brown,
they
that's right,
feel like the only people that survive.
Yes, everyone else gets blasted to shit.
Yeah, or if you're Pierce Brosnan and Sarah Jessica Parker, you get decapitated and then your head stay alive.
And you drown.
That's true. They do die. Yeah.
But even Tom Jones being in it is another thing that dates the movie as well. If we're going back to
Yeah.
If you're I imagine people watching this leading up to Beetlejuice, be like, let's watch some Tim Burton films, and then anyone
can't
who's
because
under
it's not
the
a
age
streaming
of 20. Well, that's true. Actually, fair point. So, do people actually still rent things on
I
digital?
did.
Yeah, so did I. But I
spent
didn't-
You guys paid for this movie?
I spent $4.99 on.
We legally have to
Prime.
say we did. Because we have stakes in this.
How did you watch it, Mike?
Yeah, Pete.
No. In all honesty, my granddad had it on DVD, so I borrowed it.
Cool.
There you go.
Aw. Good save.
How good is
The reason I love the movie.
How good
Convenient.
is physical media though?
How good is physical
love
media?
physical media.
So yeah, I mean, a big thing that does outside of Tom Jones that dates this film is the CGI. And I'm
Yeah.
normally someone who can't get too mad at it because it's a product of its time. I feel like it's even bad for 96.
I feel like
remember when we had a CGI dinosaur in Jurassic Park,
I just look at Jurassic Park and Terminator 2. Twister.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of movies you just go, look at what was possible in the 90s.
Yeah.
And
And
there's
then-
really no excuse.
Well, another thing going back after that, I reckon, because Tim Burton was very well known for his idea of stop motion stuff.
Yes.
I reckon what they've done is they've gone, we're going to do these as puppets. Because if you're watching the movie as well, you're seeing there are a lot of practical effects, which do
yeah.
look good.
No, yeah.
Even a lot of aliens on the ground.
Yep.
I reckon what they've done is they've tried to
Stop motion.
do stop motion for these
Yeah.
aliens, realizing shit, this is hard,
Because
and
they
then tried
would-
to then CGI stop motion.
Because
They're
they
trying to
would,
do it, yeah.
because they, as stop motion, because obviously we'll talk about in Beetlejuice, but as stop motion, those aliens would look really fucking cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree, actually, yeah. Well,
Like-
I mean, we saw what he can do with stop motion in, what was fucking... Oh, it's Beetlejuice. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember what Tim Burton movie I watched recently. We watched a lot of movies.
ya?
Yeah, I don't know. If you look at my letterbox, you'll know. I've just come back from fucking Melbourne Film Festival. I am movied
Why are
out.
you so far away from Pete? Come on, come a bit closer.
Yeah, the art direction and the stop motion in Beetlejuice. I'm looking at the framing of this right now as well, and it literally just looks like we're just all gonna get closer and closer and
It's like
closer.
legs, just like
Everyone on top of each other. We've got to give the people what they want, but behind a paywall. But yeah, the stop motion I feel like would have been great because the CGI took me out so much.
Yeah.
Like in a very bad way. And because they're annoying characters, because they sound annoying and because they look annoying,
Yeah.
I was annoyed. I don't know.
I'm with
that
you.
adds up, right?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. And I just think this movie is lacking such a distinct Tim Burton feel to it, like aesthetically, that I'm just going I don't even register this as a Tim Burton movie in my mind.
Which
For
is why
some reason.
Which is why it's surprising that so many people chose it.
I think
I'm a
it's
bit
one of
shocked by that too.
I reckon it's one of those movies that is stuck in time where everyone would have seen this as a kid.
Yes.
And then gone.
I had-
oh my god.
I had the Martian toys. I was like,
Yeah,
even though I
right.
didn't like the movie, the toy line for it was great. So and you could
You will be.
and you could obviously take the helmets off the aliens.
That's cool. Remember when you could do cool shit with toys?
had
Like I had a
so-
Buzz Lightyear whose wings came out and stuff.
the
It was
girl,
fucking awesome.
the girl
Oh, the
alien,
sexy
you could take-
lady, yeah.
You could take her head off and then put an alien head on top of it.
Oh, that's cool.
cool.
So
That's
it's like
cool.
that sort of stuff.
What happened? What happened to those?
But
Money.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
hey. Yeah, which is actually a theme in Mars Attacks, funnily enough. But yeah, I don't know. Where does this... Obviously, I think I know the answer from all three of us. Where does this sort of rank in Tim Burton's filmography?
it's down the bottom. It's not the worst.
No.
He's
Well,
done,
as
he's
we've
done
established,
worse.
yeah. Later in his career.
Dumbo down. Dumbo.
But like,
think I've got it
yeah,
up there
Mars
somewhere.
Attacks, Dumbo, the Alice in Wonderland.
It's not even open. That's how much you
Yeah.
love that movie.
That's sad.
Shit, Alice in
No,
Wonderland.
Alice Through the Looking Glass. I mean,
He didn't direct
They
that,
didn't
though.
direct that. That's
No,
right.
that's all
movie,
right.
no.
So which is good. He didn't direct
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would.
Cool.
Yeah.
That must be a Mandela effect thing because I was under the assumption
I
he
thought
did
he
too.
directed it, yeah.
But no, obviously Alice in Wonderland made a fucking $1 billion.
$1 billion,
at the box office.
yeah.
Wild.
Very quickly, sidetrack.
Yeah,
if we're
please.
talking about Tim Burton movies or anything
Yes.
and stuff. Nightmare Before Christmas, of course. It's
Yeah.
Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, but Tim Burton
Yeah.
did not direct it. Henry Selick. So it's like I didn't even know where I was going with that.
No, that's a, it came out
Is
at
it
a
a movie
time
that
though
you
where his
think
name
Tim
was
Burton
all,
directs,
yeah.
but he actually didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just how I feel about Mars Attacks.
The style.
It just doesn't feel like a Tim Burton film for me. Now, I'm not going to discredit all of it because there are moments I laughed. I think it's pretty wild.
It's wild,
It's easy to
yeah.
get caught up in with the hysteria of how fucking ridiculous this movie is. But there was just more that annoyed me
Yeah.
than anything. Do we think Jack Black was funny in this?
Jack Black or
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson?
No, Jack Black.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Because I'm just very curious for
was
more people
very
to see it.
young.
He's very young, but I would argue what he's doing there is kind of his shtick now.
Yeah.
I think he's doing more lovable characters
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
that's what I was gonna get
Yeah.
at.
But the shtick is kind of like the same. So I'd be very intrigued to see what
It does make
people
me.
look and go, oh, yeah, that's funny.
It does make me miss
Bloody
Jack
fun.
Nicholson,
Oh, yeah.
but I also
And,
don't
well,
think we'll ever see him on the big screen
The
again.
reason we all miss Jack Nicholson, though, is because he went out on How Do You Know?
Yeah.
Which is a terrible
Yeah.
fucking film. Not once.
Weird early 2000s rom-coms. That's
Oh,
and
it's so, and it's so, and it was so expensive to make.
Yeah.
And it's like,
probably for him. He probably was like,
Probably.
I'm going to fuck these guys out of a huge paycheck and then go away.
but also this
just
movie
watched
could have
Basketball,
been
Leo.
this movie could have been slightly more star packed
Okay.
because
Who?
Susan Sarandon was originally going to be the Annette Bening role,
Interesting.
which I could see.
Yeah, okay.
And Diane Keaton and Meryl Streep were both considered for Glenn Close.
I don't know why I kept
Interesting.
thinking of the First Wives Club the whole time I was watching this.
No, I get that.
It's just
But it's
funny.
like, but-
it's funny. It's funny
'Cause
because
I
I
was
like
like-
Diane Keaton.
Oh, Diane Keaton,
But
right?
that was just
and I was
I
like,
think-
and Sarah Jessica
'cause-
Parker was in First Wives
yeah, and
Club, Yeah.
that's exactly it.
Same,
But-
no.
similar time.
90,
no?
First Wives
Yeah.
Club was like 95, 96.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
I
I
mean,
reckon-
completely different movies.
I reckon
but-
Mars Attacks you could kind of pin Mars Attacks to be the downfall of
Ooh.
Tim Burton in that early 2000s
Interesting.
time. Because you also have Planet of the Apes as well, like
Because I feel-
2003, 2003, I
Because-
believe. or
Yeah,
Planet of the Apes
yeah,
was
something around
2001.
Okay, there we go.
Sorry.
Sleepy Hollow
I did the
was
same
Sleepy
thing.
Hollow was 99. And I feel like Sleepy Hollow was kind of like, oh my god, like
He's
Tim
back.
Burton's back, and then Planet of the Apes. They're like,
Oh, no, he's not.
It was 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
And
type
then
thing for
I
him.
feel like the early 2000s wasn't great for him.
No, because we've got so Alice was 2010.
he got locked in the Disney contract.
Oh, he had Big Fish though.
Big Fish,
Big
but that
Fish
was
is all right.
That was
It was meh.
post 2010 though, wasn't it?
No, that's Big Eyes.
Big Eyes, that's what I'm.
Big Eyes is
thinking of.
probably Big Fish was like 2004, 5.
2005, yeah.
Frankenweenie's
I like
alright. I like
Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie. So he's just had
Shadows?
He's far
Which is
more
2012,
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
I think
I feel like because he had that really great run of the early 90s and Mars Attacks kind of stopped that.
stopped it. Yeah.
And then it was very like, oh, he's up. Oh, it's kind of
He's
like
down.
it's kind of like M. Night Shyamalan,
Yeah.
where he has like movies where everyone's like, he's back, and then he just fucks it.
I think he's had 2 bangers in a row though with Knock at the Cabin and Trap.
I haven't seen Trap yet, but I love Knock at the Cabin.
I love Knock at the Cabin. It was
Great.
Interesting. No, it's true. But
Great
But
cast.
both directors who have a very distinct style.
Yes.
Like you either like their shit or you
Or
don't.
you don't. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Mars Attacks.
Not one. I wouldn't.
I like. Hey, not weird. You guys aren't weird, but like it was chosen.
Yeah.
Shocked. Little shocked.
And like,
it's a cult movie. It's a cult classic.
Maybe that's why.
Because I'm thinking, well, like, what, like, for you, what else was on people's, like, what else did people nominate?
Fantastic question.
Because I had Batman.
I did have Batman.
I had a lot of Batman Returns, which I was like,
the people know you.
and then I also,
I did have Sleepy Hollow was on there.
see, Sleepy Hollow didn't come up for me, which
Alice
I was like,
in Wonderland did pop up.
Alice in Wonderland popped up for me, yeah.
So yeah,
I had Edward Scissorhands,
and I had an Edward Scissorhands too. Actually, yeah.
I'm
So it
surprised
was
Edward
wild.
Scissorhands isn't what you guys went with.
But I'm just,
beyond
but
the hay,
I
yeah.
was just shocked that Mars
left it to the
Attacks was
people.
like the one that surged through
Yeah, and it was by a lot.
by a lot, yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah.
So hey,
I'm grateful, but also really disappointed.
I'm not going to yuck.
But now it's
anyone's
kind of
yum,
like,
but-
yeah, but now it's also like, well, whatever other Batman, any other Burton movie you watch, it's going to be better than that.
that's very true.
It made me want to rewatch Sleepy Hollow.
There we go.
Oh, and also Sweeney Todd.
Oh yeah, the Demon Barber of Fleet
I do love
Street.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
I do love Sweeney Todd.
Hangover movie.
That's a
Great
good
movie.
film.
Johnny Depp, how good. We should have watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I
he
just
did that.
forgot he
No,
did
we
that.
did.
No, we
did
did
that
we
for
did,
Wonka.
and we don't need to
We-
rewatch
we're
that.
okay.
We watched it
No, you
for the
got- you
Wonka,
did with
Wonka
I know,
episode.
I listened to that one. But,
We're okay.
That was a wild rewatch.
Good morning, Starshine. The Earth says hello.
Oh, Johnny just playing Johnny in that film.
Papa.
Oh my god, I forgot that whole dad storyline at the end.
Sorry, moving
His
on.
dad's a dentist. Wow. Anyway, so that was the Tim Burton flick, Mars Attacks. Not recommended, but like Pete said, watching any other film after that, you're in good stead to enjoy
out
it.
of 10.
It's such an annoying sound. It's
I
so
will
much of a movie.
I will quickly say
No, go.
there was 2 lines that made me actually like audibly giggle.
Okay.
When they shoot up the Congress and then Natalie Portman goes, "Guess it wasn't the dove."
Oh, that's
That was funny.
That was good.
And then when Lucas Hayes goes, "Oh, they did the sign of the International Donut."
That is pretty good.
That was
actually.
funny.
That is
Yeah.
good.
I was like, "Oh,
It is.
that's funny."
I think another thing that is really disappointing about it is that it feels like it wants to be this like mildly political satire as well.
yeah.
And it is just not. It's just not.
Well, and one final thing before
No,
we move
go,
on,
yeah,
sorry, is I really love the quote from Jack Nicholson right then is, why can't we just make a deal?
Yeah, that's how good's actually.
Such
It's
a great.
And then you
That's
sort of
true,
go,
yeah.
"Oh my god, it's gonna work! This movie's gonna end how?" And then the hand comes up and fucking stabs.
Yeah, that was
it
pretty
through.
funny,
Actually,
actually.
like, it kind of ruined
The hand-
like,
Oh, wow,
the
okay,
end
cool.
of it.
the hand fake out was actually I did have a giggle at that. But like the only way's up, and for Michael Keaton's pick, y'all chose Birdman.
And my god, like this arguably was like what completely rejuvenated his career.
Yeah, I remember the whole thing of being like, oh, Birdman's just Batman, right?
Yeah.
Like he's commenting on his own sort of, battle with being one of the most iconic superheroes in the world, but also in a film from like a director who before this, Inarritu, is this his first English language film? One of his first.
Did he do 21 grams?
He did do 21 grams, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'd done it for a while. But this was before, this was his blast into the Academy. And then he, follows up, The Revenant and shit. Fucking universally loved. 91% on Rotten Tomatoes for the critics, 78 for audiences. I get it.
I can see 78
get it.
because it is a weird
Do you know what
movie.
Do you know what this movie is? It's a movie fans movie.
Yeah. This is for people that are love the industry,
Yeah.
hate the industry.
Yeah.
You have to really know
100%.
about the ins and outs and what.
This is the sort of, when you're watching it, you lean over and go oh my God, this is all in one shot. That's the sort of fan this
and
is catering to.
as you said, you'd be how Michael I haven't played that character since 1992, and you're like, that's when Batman Returns came out. Oh my
Yeah.
god! Even though apparently they said Batman was never
No.
that was never what they
Well, because they would have written the
intended.
film and you don't actually have Keaton on
yeah,
board.
it was just a case of that just happened to be quite
You call that divine intervention.
yeah.
I need to really preface something before we watch this.
Yeah.
I've seen this now 3 times, especially as we've now watched it. So once in cinemas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really did not like it when I first saw it.
Interesting.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
that's purely because I know there was a lot of controversy at the time as well. Was when people were going into this movie because of the trailers, expecting a big, a nice big blockbuster.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
The trailer was
The trailer
very
is
deceptive.
really misleading. Really
Yeah.
misleading.
very deceptive trailer.
I watched it again when it came out because then I bought it on Blu-ray at the time.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and that was during my peak I'm a cinephile phase.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I remember
just
that
got out of
phase,
school
yeah.
and gone, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it again for this, and I was gone, you know what? I don't think it's got a good rewatchability to it, but I can appreciate it.
I would agree about the rewatchability
Yeah.
aspect because similar to you, I actually had not seen this since the cinemas.
Okay.
So it had been the first time in 10 years that I'd seen it. I loved it, but it's not one that I was like, oh, I'm going to go back and watch this
Yeah,
again.
I'm glad we're on the
sometime
same page.
I was the same. I saw this in the cinemas.
Yeah.
And like I loved it. This was I gave
Yeah,
this,
I remember
I
loving it
gave
when it
this
came out.
5 stars. I bought it on Blu-ray. I probably the same as you. Bought it on Blu-ray and have watched it once on Blu-ray.
Yeah, okay.
And rewatched it and was like, yep, I stick by the fact that this is 5 stars for me. And then watching it for this episode was the first time I'd seen it since
then.
that first Blu-ray watch. And
it's
it's
been
the
a
same
while.
thing. Fucking incredible. But like, yeah, this isn't something that I'm going to I might rewatch this again in however
Yeah, I'm
many
never
years.
not going to watch it again, but it's not going to be.
It's not one that you could be like, oh, let's just put that
I'm also
on.
not
Yeah.
recommending it to people. Or
No,
what.
That's
This is
the
a
thing.
tough- This is a tough one to.
I am going to quickly say when I saw the stats for it, I love that a movie like this
Yeah.
made $100 million worldwide.
Crazy,
'Cause
right?
This comes out now. This gets maybe a couple weeks in the cinema and
No,
then
do
it's
you know,
on.
do you know what this is? It's a Netflix original that gets a 2-week cinema
Yeah.
run,
It's
which is what they did to Inaradu's
Is
last
this a
film.
spotlight feature?
Bardo.
This is
Searchlight.
no, this is Searchlight.
Searchlight. Yeah.
So this is on Disney Plus within a couple days.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just made me really like happy and then kind of sad for like where we've come. Like to realize
no, that's
a movie like this,
which is funny. Kind of what the movie is kind of about.
like a movie like this making $100 million is
wild.
What do Poor
Wild.
Things make?
Not a lot.
Oh, I think. Oh, I have a feeling.
Because that's a recent
have the-
Searchlight.
I feel like
film.
Poor
Google it?
Things.
Do you
I
think?
think
it's because that's a film.
I feel like
bros
Poor Things
film.
actually ended up making decent bank.
Interesting.
But,
Okay.
but did it make good bank because it came out, or did it make good bank because it was a Best Picture nominee? And we've had a lot of hype around there because 2014 was sort of the downfall of the Academy Awards.
yeah.
No one really gave a
Here
shit.
we go. Poor Things. $117 million.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Right. There we
Yeah.
go. Well done.
Yeah, good on it.
34 million in the States, 82 in worldwide.
What was its budget?
It was a $35 million movie.
Yeah. Wow.
So roughly-
Makes sense. It was a lot of sets and CGI and stuff.
yeah.
But like this is an $18 million film. A lot of that going to the wild cast. Michael Keaton, Emma Stone, Zach Galifianakis, Edward Norton, Andrea Riseborough,
part of
Amy
me's like-
Ryan.
How good is Edward Norton?
I don't know
fucking
if
good.
they'd be. I don't know if they'd be asking for a lot because, like,
Who's the biggest star in this film? Because Emma Stone's not a household
Emma Stone's
name yet.
Emma,
2014?
Emma Stone is Emma Stone had obviously
this-
Easy A 4 years prior.
Spider-Man?
She's had the Spider-Man movie,
true.
and then
12.
she's had.
Wasn't this also the movie where everyone's like, oh, she's like
good
going for a
actor.
play,
That's
right?
the
Like
thing.
she's
This was the first movie that everyone like. Even though Easy A really brought her into the
Oh,
mainstream,
100%. No, but I mean, like,
Birdman was the first movie where you're like, oh shit,
yeah, she's got it right. 'Cause she's great. And
unfortunately, after this, she made a horrible choice with making Aloha.
Cameron Crowe.
And I remember
too.
when Aloha came out, I was like, oh, she's just undone like
All
all
of
of her
this,
good work.
yeah.
And then obviously the next year it's
That's
it's
funny.
La La Land, The Favorite. She's now like she will now be
yeah,
one of the like
there's a lot.
every movie she does is going to be like an event movie because
Yes.
she's just at that point now. You're like 35 years old and you've got 2 Oscars. Like, yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, so nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay. Oh, sorry, one Best Picture, Best Director,
Yeah.
Best Screenplay, Cinematography,
Michael Keaton was nominated.
and Edward Norton and Emma Stone both
Yeah.
supporting actor nominations. So yeah, this is like the definition of like an Oscar film. This is an Academy
That
film,
is not me.
right? It's probably my phone going off. I think that's right.
Is the Birdman speech for Michael Keaton the one, like the really amazing one where he was like, never give up? Like, I'm Michael Douglas. because I couldn't.
Maybe at the Globes?
Was that at the Globes?
Yeah, because he won, didn't he? He won for this one, and that was his first.
Best comedy.
Yeah, because
That's literally the next
Yeah.
line.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. I didn't see it
This
either.
was his first,
gold.
and that's wild that this was his first Golden Globe Award
and
win.
that's the point that I was
Yeah.
getting to. Where
Well,
it was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
But to the point where he was, I just remember watching that live and him getting up winning, and I started crying when he started doing his speech because it's such a beautiful speech. Oh, sorry, my chain's out.
And it's also because he's like, it still boggles my mind that because he's obviously been working for so long. He's like 72 years old.
Yeah.
And it kind of is
Wow. Yeah.
in my
don't
mind,
click.
Michael Keaton is not that old because he's always just been to me.
Wow. He looks
He's
good.
been Batman.
He looks
And
great.
it's even more emotional the fact that he won for this because you've been working
Yeah.
for so long and everyone loves Michael Keaton. Like I don't know anybody that has a
bad thing to
word
say
to say about him.
Yeah.
And the fact that he got a role, and especially for a role like this, where it's like, because he had such a high on a trajectory, and then there was that period where he wasn't as he was starring in either box office flops or
Yeah.
he had or
Was he Mr. Mum?
He was Mr. Mum.
and he was doing either supporting roles, like he wasn't really Michael Keaton anymore. So this was also a massive thing for him to be leading a movie after all these years.
Interesting.
And watching this and then watching all of his early stuff, it makes you realize why he was such a controversial choice for Batman all those years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually.
Because Batman was also Tim Burton's third
film.
movie.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton, as we'll talk about, was Beetlejuice and had done primarily comedic roles. So it's weird that looking back at it, it's not weird that everyone was like, why are we choosing Michael Keaton? It's kind of like the way that Robert Pattinson was picked apart for being Batman.
that's fair. Yeah. And then.
But to me, Michael Keaton he's Batman. He's my Batman.
He's my Birdman.
Yeah.
He's my Batman.
He's your
That's true,
Batman?
yeah.
Nothing can ever change Michael Keaton.
No.
He's Batman.
No. But no, I
Christian
love
Bale's my Batman.
For you would, you basic bitch.
There's a scene. so it's a massive
I
sidetrack.
hate every fucking person that goes, Christian Bale's my favorite Batman.
is.
Seriously.
Yeah, I
okay,
loved him.
He's
no,
a great
Christian
Batman.
Bale's my favorite Bateman.
Fuck you. Look, Christian Bale's a great fucking performance as Batman. All right, I'm sorry to fucking get sidetracked, but he's a great fucking performance as Batman. Don't get me fucking wrong.
I'm not saying
But-
you're wrong.
but-
I'm saying he's great as American Psycho. That's what that
he
joke.
fucking. Oh yeah,
That's why I was like, why are you getting so
you're wrong.
angry at me?
You're real
I was like, he's my favorite Batesman, Patrick
he's
Bateman.
really
Do you
good.
get it now?
Yeah, I get it
Fucking
now.
simp.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
No, go, please.
What was your thought? Now?
So no, Christian,
You got the floor.
Christian Bale, he's a great Batman. Don't get me wrong, okay? I love it. Great Batman, cool.
Thank you.
Whatever.
Thanks for validating
All right,
my-
fuck you. But then here's the thing. You then come up with Ben Affleck. Yeah, okay, shit movies, cool, whatever.
He is all right.
But he gave a great Dark Knight Returns-esque Batman.
Sure.
And then Robert Pattinson, a great early on year one Batman. Michael Keaton being able to take the Batman character who was laughed at for so long before that and to bring him to the big screen the way that Michael Keaton does and do the duality of being the smart, wisecracking billionaire with the idea of I'm the serious Batman superhero. Like there are so much better things than Christian Bale. Christian Bale does his cool, whatever, grounded, realistic approach. I don't give a fucking shit.
The gruffy voice.
That shit. That's not Batman to me.
Right.
He is a superhero. He's a beefy superhero. Cool, but there is so much better than Christian Bale's Batman. And I can agree, the movies in themselves are phenomenal movies.
Right.
And I think that's some of the best movies of all. The Dark Knight is one of the greatest movies of all time.
It's no Batman Returns.
But it's no Batman Returns. That's stylized.
Yeah.
It's very, that's a comic book ripped straight onto screen. That's what it
a valid point.
pisses me off about the Dark Knight.
We had this conversation for the Batman
For the
episode,
Batman
and
episode,
I said Michael Keaton was my favorite, but I said Michael Keaton is my favorite Batman in the Batman suit. Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman
out of the
Batman suit because he's jacked as fuck in that movie, and it's really hot.
I love when Michael Keaton does parkour around his kitchen.
Director's
in the
cut. I'm
Flash.
like,
Oh, I love him in the Flash again.
When Michael Keaton's leaping out of fucking cupboards
But-
in the Flash.
also, it's kind of great that watching this,
And
and
then
then you realize, oh my God, he
came-
got to play Batman again.
But
Yeah,
even you know, we talk about Beetlejuice now.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
1988, he played Beetlejuice.
He
Yes.
did.
In 1989, he played Batman.
Batman.
He did.
In 2023, he played Batman. In
2024, he played Beetlejuice.
In fucking Inception, back to the idea of Christopher Nolan and Batman and The Dark Knight. Fuck!
This is not where I was expecting it to go.
End of rant.
That's
Here's
great.
Tenet, guys. If you're watching a live, you're watching a live stream.
guys.
Tenet. Fucking. It's a nice steelbook.
Thanks, mate. Shout out JB Hi-Fi.
Bit dusty.
Yeah, it just hasn't been watched
I
in a
mean, it's
while.
next to Terminator Dark Fate, so I don't really, you know.
Stop outing my collection, bruh.
But then you're next to talk to me and. Sorry, go back.
Does
to
there
what
a
you were
talk? Do I have a talk to me still? Oh no, I do too. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Michael Keaton in Birdman. This is where we'll go with that.
Yeah.
For those who haven't seen Birdman, we're going to talk about it. Former cinema superhero Regan Thompson, played by Keaton, is mounting an ambitious Broadway production that he hopes will breathe new life into his stagnant career. It's risky, but he hopes that he has a creative gamble. He hopes that his creative gamble will prove that he's a real artist and not just a washed-up movie star. As opening night approaches, a castmate is injured, forcing Regan to hire an actor played by Edward Norton, who is guaranteed to shake things up. Meanwhile, Regan must deal with his girlfriend, daughter, and ex-wife. And I guess the idea of the fact that he is an actor... Bless you. That he is an actor
Bless you,
famous
big boy.
for playing a superhero in a multi-film franchise who's trying to do something different with his career, which is very on the nose. Very on the nose. However, bless you,
Hey, fuck.
knocks it out of the fucking park.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton is a force in this
Oh,
film.
he's so good.
Such an amazing performance.
Incredible performance.
Well, even away from Michael Keaton, everyone in this movie delivers exactly.
I
what
love
they need to
everyone in
deliver.
this film.
Like,
Ed Norton.
Naomi Watts as well. Is there
They're-
someone that's really underrated in this?
perfectly unhinged, both those guys. Bless you.
Hey.
You're right. They're perfectly
Anyone
unhinged.
just cats?
No.
I was
I
gonna.
wonder if it's a blanket.
I was gonna call myself a pussy.
You can still do that if you want to. Unhinged, both of them.
They say you are your
And-
age. Sorry. Sorry, that just popped in my head. You are what you eat.
That would be a thing Beetlejuice actually
Pussy.
says. I wonder if what's Beetlejuice rated? We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it'll be PG-13.
Because then I have some
Yeah,
thoughts.
true.
I have some thoughts on that as well.
Yeah. He's incredible. Performances are all incredible across the board. It's actors playing actors
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So you've got this sort of they're all aware of what they're doing in this meta
Like,
sort
I
of
s- you
sense.
know,
There's
you
love
see-
for their roles.
You see
Yeah.
it in like Emma Stone's first big speech.
Yeah.
And it's like, because
First of many.
she's kind of been not subdued, but she's kind of just been
She's
sort of
seen-
like nonchalantly walking through
Yeah.
it. And then she gets the big like, you don't matter, like no one matters. And guess what? You don't. And it's like, it really like shifts and you can see that it's like one of those things where you go, I know that she's like acting.
Yes.
But I don't care
That's coming
that
from a real
that I
place.
notice
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. I think this movie battles with itself in a good way because I think that's kind of what the movie's about is that, like, yes, I think there's so much pressure put on both actors and from an audience perspective of, say, actors like Regan Thompson who are like, want to do something great and we go, oh my God, that's the best thing we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But they're acting.
And it's also-
and it's providing entertainment. Like, it's not
Yeah.
changing the world.
And then it plays into the whole thing of like,
it's interesting.
in the real world, if like you were going to a Broadway show and you saw Regan Thompson, would you be like, oh, is this just
Exactly.
Is this just stunt casting? Because
Yes.
obviously you see a lot of actors go onto stage and it's just like
Duh.
the only reason you're doing this is because you either want some clout
Yeah.
and all productions are like, we
need
need a
this
name.
person.
And then a lot of the times they don't end up being
The
that
funny-
good.
the
Boy,
funniest-
Boy George and Moulin Rouge right now on Broadway.
Really? Not good?
Harold Zegler. Ugh.
Who is it?
Boy
George
George.
is Harold Zegler.
Oh,
in
see, the
Moulin
only
Rouge
thing
on
I know
Broadway.
that JoJo, that singer, is playing Satine.
Okay.
And she's got an incredible voice.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
But yeah,
I
that's
don't know who
that's
that
an
is.
interesting choice.
Listen to the recordings. It's shit.
But it's funny that the thing here is like they bring on Edward Norton's character to shake things up, but he's actually a theater actor. Like he's like, you know what I
but
mean?
also
Like,
Edward Norton is also notoriously known for being the kind of guy that
Like,
would,
really
that
difficult.
would shake this thing. So it's
Like,
like, so I
real
think Edward
difficult to
Norton was
work
kind of
with.
just like, oh, I get to play myself. Cool.
and he does it really fucking well.
It really
But
well.
also, like Broadway fans are fucking insane.
Yeah,
oh,
like,
they are like, yeah.
Like when you have a Broadway actor come in,
Oh,
like,
we see
they're
that.
better.
We see that with the fucking reporter in this
Yeah.
film, who's
Yeah.
like so obsessed with like keeping the sanctity of the arts, and she's like, I haven't seen the play, and I'm going to.
That's
tank
it. How
in
the
my
fact
review.
that she's just
Yeah.
like, you're in this, I'm going to give it a shit review. And you're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, and
You
that,
can't come in and take my thing. Stop
that
gatekeeping.
mentality is kind of like, like looking at it from the critical side of things. I know that like it's something that I've spoken about with Nick, where it's like
Yes.
where critics who just hate something, even though they go worst movie ever, I'm never going to see it, and you're like,
And you kinda
then
go,
it's
you
not
haven't-
the worst movie ever
you
because
haven't
you're not going to see it, and
haven't seen
why
it.
are you not seeing it? You're not being an actual subjective critic where you
Yes.
go, I've seen movies that I'm like either I didn't particularly want to see,
Yep, all the time.
or there's actors that I'm like
I watch
I'm not
Mars
fussed on
Attacks.
them, but then sometimes they completely
Yeah.
change. Like there are movies that you go, I wasn't expecting much from that, and then they end up being great.
And it'd be fucking awesome.
Also, what might not be your personal taste might
Yeah.
be someone else's personal taste.
I feel like
Don't yuck others' yums.
that's it.
That's
I
it.
feel like if you're a critic and you are like, I hate you, so therefore I'll hate this. You're like, then you're not doing your good job.
Yes, I agree.
I will never tell someone not to see a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I can say
yeah.
like, I don't think this is worth it. Or like this person,
it.
this personally didn't hit for me, but there's an audience out there for it. But then if you see it and you're like, this was shit, why did I see it? You'll be like, well, I did say to you, I thought it was shit.
Yeah.
But I'm also not going to necessarily be like, me saying it's shit. It's not
feel
saying
like-
it's shit for you.
I feel like we all literally just said that at the beginning of this Birdman. We were all like, yeah, it's really great. It's
Yeah.
a fucking great movie. I'm not going to tell loads of people
Yeah.
that they'd love it, but I'm not going to say don't watch it for
Because
that
there
reason.
will be
'cause you
people
might
that
love
you'd
it.
like read a 5-star review and then go and they'd be like, why did you give this 5 stars? And you're like, because of this, 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 and this. If you don't see it, that is fine.
That's fine. That's
Because like
completely
we
fine.
pride ourselves on being the kind of people that are like, if your opinion's different than mine, cool.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to make you feel like shit. Like the amount of people that are like shitting on Romulus right now.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Romulus is
okay,
good, man. Romulus
cool.
is fucking fun.
If you don't like Romulus, that is fine.
Yeah.
But don't make other people feel like shit for liking it. That's
Yeah.
the thing. When people are like making you feel like shit, you're like,
Yeah, I
that's-
agree.
That's not what this
Well,
is
even
about.
even Deadpool Wolverine. Like,
Yeah.
that's just such a fun, great movie.
Yeah.
Huge example.
I mean, do I think it is a great movie? Not at
Yeah.
all. There's a lot of flaws to it. Is it fun? Hell yeah. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. But
Yeah.
it's not for everyone.
yeah.
But it's your thing, right?
That's
like
it.
that's the thing.
And we've
yeah.
seen it with like Trap.
Yeah. I love
Like
Trap.
to me, the final third of Trap falls apart.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not as strong. And I sort of gave it a pretty middling review.
Yeah.
But then other people are like, oh, well, if you don't like it, then like you just don't like to have fun. And you're like,
No.
that's not what this
That's
is.
not how that works.
Because also I really liked Twisters. But then
Twisters is
again, me liking Twisters pissed you off just as much. So I'm
Yeah.
like, so I can't win with you.
You're actually not allowed to have an opinion,
Yeah.
Pete. I don't know if you know that.
Even Borderlands. I love the games and absolutely hated the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then
That's also, but that's probably one movie that, like, if someone was like, "I'm going to see," you probably go, "Oh,
just
rain,
like,
like
wait, it's
rain,
just-
rain, check it," because you know what? Already has a VOD date,
Yeah, of course it does.
August
Of course
30th.
it does.
August 30th.
Yeah, it's got to make something, right?
So I'm like, wait till August 30th if you have to see this movie.
I
paid
can't
for a ticket to go see that.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that hurts.
I can't wait for August 31 and Twitter to be like, what did you guys mean? Borderlands was really fun. I
you
can't wait for-
you guys just don't know how to have any fun, and
I
you're
can't
like,
wait.
no, we do.
I'm so excited.
So angry.
It's
That was a fun little tangent. but that makes sense, though.
Borderlands is wild. That they
Yeah,
got
that's got to be
so
studied.
wrong.
What
That
we,
movie's
what
gotta
we
be
just
studied.
said was a great clip. Can I just say, like, if we take what that
That's probably the
conversation-
one thing that we
cut it.
can use. For all of this.
No, but if we were to take that out of this like, thing and like clip that, that's a really,
There we go.
a really good clip.
They'd be
So,
like, wait, these critics all get along with each other?
Who
You're
would
like,
have
yeah.
thought?
I was
Who
saying to
would've-
Nick the other day. Sorry again.
No,
off-
no,
off-
no, no,
off-
no,
off-
it's-
I was saying to Nick the
I
other
think
day.
I know what you're gonna say, yeah.
I was like, I really like Nick and Pete because we're not. Like, it's not pretentious douchebags of films.
No.
I hate go to film festivals a lot. I really do, because
I was literally
it's
just telling you about
the type of people when you walk in and go, the mise en scène was just so delightful.
I'll bounce off that. There's absolutely a place for that.
Oh, and 100%.
I'm getting notes of pretentiousness.
But then back to what we were just talking about. If you're going to shit on me because I fucking love Rocky Horror and you think it's the worst movie ever because
I'm gonna shit on it,
doesn't have it's not in black and white, like, fuck you.
It's not 4:3 aspect ratio, black and white. No, I get, I 100%, because there's a place for every sort of movie opinion. We're so inclusive here. Birdman.
It's my Make-A-Wish.
Oh.
What are you laughing at?
Deleted episode.
I was like, we're so inclusive. I'm like, oh, a gay man and a Make-A-Wish kid. Great.
I'm glad you made the gay joke.
Let's.
I'm
that's all right. I'm
allowed.
He's allowed to. And then when you made an honorary gay like me, you can flirt with the line.
Yeah, just enough to be like, I'll allow it.
Just enough to be like, if it's super, super bad, you'll be like,
if I laugh at it, then it's like, it's okay.
okay,
Someone that we know that is not gonna, someone that we know that's not going to ever listen to this calls me an ally, but then also at the same time
tries to. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
I might timestamp that one. Keep it in.
But okay, when it comes to
So
Birdman,
that was all stemmed from the critic. Yeah.
when it comes to Birdman, I feel like
no.
obviously
It's just a really good sidetrack.
the biggest thing is how do we interpret the ending of this film?
True.
Because I feel like everybody has a differing opinion, and I'd like to think I don't feel like I don't know if we're going to have the same view.
I don't have a definitive opinion.
Okay.
Because I like the idea of leaving it up to the audience. My cynical side says he kills himself.
Right.
My optimist side says like, oh wow, this is all like an incredible.
Do you think
like,
that he kills himself on stage and then the rest of it is
oh, interesting.
done?
I haven't thought about that.
Or do you think he commits suicide out of the window?
I think he jumps out the window.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
For me, I take it two ways. I would have.
There's a joke there for you, Pete, by the way.
No, it's okay. It's not a joke when it's my lifestyle.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Which in itself is a really funny joke.
I take the end of this movie two ways.
Okay.
So
I take mine in two ways too.
high five.
Well done. Well done.
I believe that I think it would have been a better ending if it cuts to Black right as he kills himself on stage.
Right.
Interesting.
I want it to be,
and then all you hear is just the audience
and
clapping.
that's it. Because realistically, it takes the idea of this is how fucked up that
changes
the theatre and
everything.
arts
Yeah.
community can be.
Yeah,
That
that's
people are supporting the fact
he
that someone.
He killed himself for his art.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So
That's
which
very
leads
interesting.
into that, and then I also take the second part
Yeah.
of it, being of okay, it was the accident, whatever. Continue on with the movie,
Yeah.
but again, the cynical in me goes, oh, he's just jumped out the window because he's
I
because of that.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then also I look at it as it's someone that's kept on to something for so long, never been able to break free of the chains of all
Yeah,
that,
and
then now he's been able to break free from.
And the one person who sees it is
is
also
doing-
the other person who's managed to do the same
was
thing,
able
right?
to let go
Yeah.
of their past and be
Very
able to
interesting.
prosper. So
Yeah.
those
I
are
like
two
that.
ways that I see it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like I've had, watching it multiple times, I've kind of gone through all of the kills himself on stage, the rest of it isn't real, kills himself on stage, survived that, or tried to kill himself on stage, survived that, jumps out the window. I then, watching it this time and listening to certain parts of dialogue, I was like, because all throughout it, Emma Stone talks about you need to, you kind of need to embrace who Birdman is.
Yes.
And
And what Birdman means
and
to
how
people.
she's saying
yeah.
you don't have any kind of online presence.
Yes.
And then at the end, when she's like, I've given you a Twitter account, blah blah blah. So I kind of was then like, when he jumps out the window and flies, I looked at it as him being like, he survived the shooting.
The shooting one, yeah.
He's gotten his new nose. He is the Regan Thompson that everybody wants me to be. is now who I am. And because of my online, like I've got my online presence.
He's got that viral video.
But it's like, it's more than just being like online, but it's the case of people now know me, they accept me. I'm the actor that they all thought I was.
Sure.
And then him flying is like the metaphorical thing of like, he's now embraced it. And Emma Stone, like looking up is like, I helped you do this. This is now
she's watching with pride, right?
That's how kind of I
very
kinda looked at it.
interesting.
I gave you wings, now fly.
Basically, yeah. And it wasn't really till I was listening to like the dialogue this time, that it kind of was like, because she's always like, you don't matter, and then
but here's how you can.
Here's how you can, and then it's a case of I helped you do this, and as someone who has gone through all of the shit I have, the fact that I can give you this, makes me happy, and I get to watch you fly and prosper. Yeah.
Michael Keaton's performance, I think, harnesses some of the energy we've seen from him in, as we will talk about, Beetlejuice.
Yes.
I think he has a manic energy that he hones so well. This is all, for those who don't know, this is all filmed to look like one continuous take.
It is quite funny when you rewatch it, when you go,
You can see the stitches,
this is where it edits.
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing. I think
Especially if you have a film editing background.
I was going to say, if you've seen enough like movies and stuff, you kind of like can pick that up.
I mean, anytime it like fades to black, you're like, that's clearly the edit.
Yes. yeah.
Or
when
even
it
goes through a wall.
Or it goes around someone. It's like completely.
And then did you notice when he flies down that the person behind him unclips him?
Oh, that's funny. I did not.
No.
Yeah, so when he flies down onto the street, there's someone that's just walking, like meant to be just someone on the street.
And they
walk
him.
behind
I
it.
have
And you,
seen this on
and
YouTube
you,
video
and you
of people
briefly
like
just
this.
see them just go, and they unclip him from the
Oh, that's very
harness.
funny. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but a part of me's like, I don't know if that was like
intentional.
They
or
tried
not.
to keep it a thing, and it was just a blooper, or it's like we're breaking the fourth wall. Yeah.
But yeah, do you kind of see that energy that he has?
Absolutely.
It's obviously not to the degree of what he does in Beetlejuice, but I think this is like an opportunity for him to be like, just harness some.
You can see like the kind of like the craziness just like kind of like bubbling inside.
Well, something that's now just come to my mind is linking it back to Batman, Birdman and Batman. Is the let's get nuts scene. You know, and it's just taking that single scene of him, being up against Jack Napier, or the Joker at the time, and really having that serious, I'm going to be threatening to you, before then going into the whole manic. Come on, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. It's like
I get
the
that.
idea of Birdman.
Birdman's like a 2-hour version of that, right?
2-hour version of that scene of someone that's trying to stay calm, stay cool, collective, and be the tough guy, but then letting it all overtake him. I think Birdman's like a 2-hour version of that.
Yeah, no, I get that. I like that.
And then I think that just all plays into the fact that like, I don't know if this film would have been had the emotional weight if it wasn't Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm with you.
Like, it'd be interesting to know if when they wrote this, if there was anybody in mind.
If O.J. Simpson was in it.
I'd forgotten.
Keep that one in because then it'll seem weird that everything else is cut out.
I'd forgotten that we'd spoken about OJ.
Me too.
But yeah, I think technically this film's incredible. I think the performances are incredible. This has 5-star movie written all over it. But I agree with Mike in the sense like the rewatchability isn't 100% there.
Would you consider an Oscar bait?
Oscar baity, yeah. But I appreciate when an Oscar bait film's actually good.
Yeah, I think when it started and it's like the drums and it's like the words are coming. Watching that, I was just like, oh, this is very Oscar.
Yeah,
but then
it's the sigh.
But we haven't even spoken about this aspect of it, sorry, because the music's great.
Yeah.
He has a supernatural ability the whole film.
Yeah,
I forgot he had telepathy and he could move shit around.
Which I still don't understand.
But I'm also like, I took that as, even though it's presented in the film as being telepathic, I just took that as like, he's actually just moving them. But it's because he's
okay.
I'm going
to get to you in a second because I want to counterpoint that.
Yeah.
How does he injure the actor then? Or was that just luck that light fell on that actor at the beginning? Remember?
Yeah, I know.
He's I want this guy out of the plane, and then all of a sudden he like looks up, and then bang, this fucking light falls on the guy's head.
Yeah,
I'm not discrediting.
No. I just took it.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
that's you're fucking wrong.
I just took it as like, even though everything's presented as supernatural, it's all just like stuff that's
because then
actually
when
happening.
He's ruining his room, and then it goes to Zach Galifianakis,
and it shows him just throwing. That's why it was.
For sure.
That's why I sort of took.
What
it
were you
as
gonna
that.
say?
Yeah,
I've just kind of thought of something.
Okay.
and the way of what if the entire before the whole point of when he shot himself on stage was he's in a coma and he's imagined the whole entire thing. Because
It probably still would have won Best Picture.
And he I don't know. I just
Where would
Wait,
you have fallen
no.
in the coma?
So he was in a coma the entire time.
What?
Then he comes out and he flies out. So he's been a super. So he was a superhero that was like injured in something.
Yes.
So
He's Fall Guy himself.
So he's actually a superhero.
Yes.
And then he flies out, and Emma Stone's like,
Interesting.
"You've been gone this whole time, and now you're awake, and you've got a brand new nose, and you can go fly, be a superhero."
Oh no, it was more just the lines, more on the lines of he's killed himself. What if the whole time he was he was in a coma, which then that was the lead up, and it was
and
he was in his
right.
mind, and
Yeah.
he was in a coma, living out this whole entire thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Of
okay,
this,
I'm picking up
of
what
like
now.
trauma
I have, yeah.
him trying to get over his get over everything himself. While
Get
he's
over
Right.
his ego, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like it's an ego death. This
But
movie.
that speaks to like the power of this script that it's
Yeah,
like it
I would agree.
opens up like what
We all had
like
three
seven
different interpretations
yeah,
of the ending.
7 different ideas of what this film could be. It would be
all of them
kind of
pretty interesting.
great to like ask him and just be like, did you actually have a definitive idea of what the ending for Birdman is, or
Yeah.
did you just kind of like that it's just going to like fuck with people?
Yeah, and I suppose no one's asked that
No.
question.
And now it's
So
10
when are
years
you
later,
guys interviewing Keaton for Beetlejuice?
fortunately we're not.
Sore subject. Sore subject, Mike. Thanks for bringing it up.
Burton?
mate. No,
All-
no
no,
one.
no,
We
no,
got
no
one.
single- no
Nah.
single
No
one?
press.
Unfortunately, they've already done the junket. Sad, but we don't bring that up because we will cry instead of laugh. That's all right. The ones you.
I would like.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton would be.
He'd be a great
incredible.
interview. I think he'd be a really great story.
And I'd love to talk to. I'd love to talk to Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, so would I.
And we're going to watch Beetlejuice.
Oh, David. We're going to watch Beetlejuice. I was in Beetlejuice.
The test of this woman is ridiculous.
Well, while we're doing our best Catherine O'Hara impersonations, she is one of the best bits of a. I'm not going to spoil it too early, but pretty great movie. Beetlejuice. The reason we're here today, the reason Mike's dressed up as the Juice, once again, not O.J. Simpson.
The juice is loose.
Beetlejuice, 1988, with the sequel coming out this year. So what, 36 years later?
Quick math.
Wild. No, way more than that. Wait, 36? Yeah, 36 years later.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is... You love Beetlejuice?
I adore Beetlejuice, and it was really interesting me rewatching this.
Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. You love Beetlejuice.
Love Beetlejuice. Like this was this. I
We
don't know.
geeked about it at
I
the
don't
end of
know
the
how
last
old I
episode.
was when I first saw it, but all I know is that I saw this when I was far too young.
Oh,
And
that's something we're going to talk
And it was
about.
just something that I then have continually watched
Sure.
for 36 years.
So I hadn't seen this
Every
in-
Halloween, this is watched.
Probably hadn't seen this in about 15 years.
Wow.
And I didn't remember it. Like I'd watched it at 12, 13, well, 14 maybe.
Part of me always is kind of jealous when you don't remember a movie.
I felt like
when
I
it's a
was
movie,
watching it for the
when it's a
first
movie
time,
like this, that I'm like, I could
would
not
love
watch
to go
this
back,
and
yeah.
I would just know it.
Yeah.
The
Which is
feel-
actually funny. The next hour and a half of the episode is just Pete doing Beetlejuice.
the feeling of like rewatching something like this or watching it for the first time.
Yes.
Like it makes me
That's
just
how
feel
I
like
felt watching it
That
this
would
time
be
around.
that would just be the most incredible feeling.
So it was interesting for me coming into this because I feel I was coming in under the assumption that because I didn't remember much from when I did watch it 15 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe I didn't like it.
Right.
And I'm not going to care again. Boy, was I wrong.
Thank
This is a
God.
fucking fun movie.
Oh, so fun.
It is funny. It's a great concept. It looks great. It has Tim Burton's shit all over it.
Burton at his peak,
it's-
I believe.
And I
fucking
love that
great.
it takes like 8 minutes for it to get into like what's happening.
Yeah, straight away.
There's
The dark
no
shit.
like we don't because like I feel like
Yeah.
nowadays we would spend 20 to 30 minutes with the main characters
Yeah.
before they die.
It's a crisp 92-minute movie
Yeah.
as well.
And it feels like it. Like it is.
And it's why Michael
Damn.
Keaton is only in this movie for like 7
Why?
I
minutes.
forgot how
Why?
little he's in
Yeah.
this movie.
Because
crazy.
realistically, this is
like
Gina Davis and Alec
Baldwin's
Baldwin's film.
movie,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
which is crazy.
And then even like
They're in
after
it.
that, even after that, like Winona Ryder is like got
Big
kind
part
of,
of
like
it.
The emotional, you know.
Catherine O'Hara is a big
Catherine
part of
O'Hara.
it. Jeffrey Jones is a big
Jones.
part of it. Refer to beginning of episode if it's still in there.
Or if it's not in there, there's just some stuff about Jeffrey Jones. But we won't talk about
One
it.
thing that I was a little disappointed when I rewatched this was that OJ Simpson wasn't in it.
For all this talk about the juice, OJ did not pop up
Juice was
once.
certainly not loose. Was he in jail at that point?
No,
No, it was the
this
90s.
This is early.
This was
this is
88.
80, yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
this is when
not
like
till
he
the
was
90s.
like.
Do you know
Probably
at
in his
one
prime,
Do you know
actually.
at one point? Do you know at one point OJ
was-
Simpson
was the Terminator.
Yeah, it was going to be
I knew you were going to
Terminator.
fucking say that.
How
When
crazy
did
is
Terminator
that?
come out? That was 86 or something like that? 85, 86 maybe?
Yeah.
84 maybe? So yeah, this would have been prime juice period. Yeah. I wonder if he got mad that Beetlejuice kept calling himself the Juice. And maybe that's why he did what he did.
I reckon that's exactly right why he did it.
We
Because
found a new motive.
because There's
Someone-
There's footage of OJ Simpson at the Batman '89 premiere.
Oh, and he was probably thinking
was,
the whole time.
He was. They were asking about. I kept asking him. Oh, look, there's
Really?
footage about it.
Let's not reopen the case, but let's get Ryan Murphy to make a show about it. For those who don't know what Beetlejuice is about, currently 85% critics score on Rotten Tomatoes, 82% for audiences, so very well regarded.
I'm happy with that.
Very
yeah.
well regarded.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
After Barbara, played by Gina Davies, and Adam Maitland, played by Alec Baldwin, die in a car accident, as we said early in the fucking film. He's so young in this. So's Gina. They're both.
Alec Baldwin is so hot in this movie.
Yeah, I would agree. He's a fucking looker in this.
Yeah.
He's a good looking Rose. It's the glasses. It's the doughy-eyed glasses wearing man. You know what I mean?
Usually
and
I
it's
wear
the tucked-in
glasses.
shirt. It's the tucked-in shirt. Oh, there we go. We've
I
got
was wearing
a young
glasses.
Alec Baldwin.
Put some glasses on. We'll talk.
They find themselves stuck, haunting their country residence, unable to leave the house. When the unbearable Dietzes, Catherine O'Hara, Jeffrey Jones, and their teen daughter Lydia, played by Winona Ryder, buy the home, the Maitlands attempt to scare them away without success. Their efforts attract Beetlejuice, played by Michael Keaton, a rambunctious spirit whose help quickly becomes dangerous for the Maitlands and innocent Lydia. So, this is the first thing I'll say. This is a genius idea to hire a spirit to scare people.
Yeah.
Like, that is a fucking amazing idea.
What is the Bioexorcist? Is that
The Bioexorcist.
Bioexorcist, yeah.
And I love as well, because you can go two ways with that. You can have a straight up horror film that's really cool. Like, I would love to see the really fucked up version of Beetlejuice. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I love the comedy version of it.
Oh yeah.
The world that this opens up is so fantastical. It's incredible. It's genuinely incredible.
And I love that because of what's happened, like Beetlejuice.
Yes.
There's the character of Monica Bellucci is introduced to it. And
based
then
off like
then
one
in-
line, right? In this
basically in this movie where he has the finger and he says she meant nothing to me.
Yeah.
And that's literally like
The bride.
The bride. And apparently what they're doing
That's
for
gold.
Beetlejuice is I don't
Yeah.
know if it's happening at the beginning of the movie or not, but the whole sequence between Michael Keaton and Monica Bellucci where they meet apparently is all going to be in black and white.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's cool.
yeah.
I don't know
I
if
like
that, I
that.
don't know if that's been like officially confirmed.
feel like
I've
Burton's
but I've
cooking
read
again?
that and I was like, that would be.
I
feel like
think
he-
so.
you feel like
I
Burton's
reckon
cooking?
Burton, and I've said it a few times. Like, he got stuck in that Disney contract where it was
Yeah.
like he was forced to make all these movies.
Yeah.
And shit.
Yeah.
And
I think
but, like,
because he did Alice in Wonderland, and they probably went, "This is $1 billion movie. You are now making movies."
You are
that-
now
that's
Disney
it.
man.
and that killed his like the fact that he's like, I'm really fucked up, and I
Yeah.
like doing messed up stuff.
you know, you take some of his other IP. Like, would you want to see an Edward Scissorhands sequel? No. There's nothing more to be
No.
added to that.
No.
But you take the idea of Beetlejuice and a completely original idea too.
Yep.
Which is very rare.
In a very original world
and,
too.
and
Like,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
There's so much that you can explore. I mean,
I
I
agree.
remember even seeing this movie like right after I saw Batman Returns and everything. So
Hmm.
I watched this movie straight after falling in love with Tim Burton. I ended up making my own story about it.
Yeah.
Where it was like
That's cool.
Beetlejuice
I
goes
like
to hell. And essentially he's
Ooh.
riding sandworms through hell before he then meets God to try and redeem himself. He's played by Danny DeVito. So
Holy shit.
I have this whole story, but it
Quickly
leads...
trademark that while you're before
but
this goes out to the world.
like,
No, Danny DeVito's already in this as a janitor.
but in
Yes, too, that's right, yeah.
but in the 6 years,
yeah.
The talk of a Beetlejuice sequel has been, and at one
Really?
point they were going to do Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii.
Yeah, right after the back of
They
the
were
success
going
of the cartoon
They
show
were going
and
to do
shit.
that, and I'm like,
Was there a Beetlejuice
as,
cartoon?
and as much as
Yeah,
like,
Beetlejuice
I,
cartoon.
yeah,
There we
It's
go.
on the special features of 4K Blu-ray if you go get, by the way.
and as much
I've
as
only
I
got the Blu-ray,
would,
Blu-ray. Sorry.
and as much as I would have loved a Beetlejuice sequel in the interim, because
Sure.
I was like, this is one of a great movie. It's like it just seems like it's right that it's coming out.
Yeah.
Now, yeah,
I'm also hoping that it lives up to
the hype.
the expectation.
If I'd be lying if I said I'm not worried.
Yeah, I feel like Michael Keaton coming back is a really good thing.
Yep.
Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara coming back is
Need
great.
for Speed's Michael Keaton.
I mean, Willem Dafoe, Justin Theroux, Monica
It's a
Bellucci,
big cast.
Jenna Ortega,
Jenna Ortega
who I
thing
think
on
Jenna
that.
Ortega casting as Winona Ryder's daughter is like pitch perfect.
I do love it. I do love that
I
Winona's
agree
back.
that I'm like, there is
so
a
hot.
small part of me that is worried because we've seen what Burton can do when he's not at his best.
Sure.
But also,
Sure.
he's been given this full creative control.
I'd like, yeah,
This-
and that makes me
it
go,
seems like
And it's
it.
I
another
really
reason I
hope.
love Batman Returns.
Yeah,
because
and
that's he got full creative control.
which is why they went like, you're never making another Batman movie again.
Even though it is,
Even though you're like,
amazing.
I kind of want a third Batman movie with Tim Burton.
Yeah, no.
And the
fair.
ideas that were coming out for a third Batman movie with Tim Burton were insane.
sorry, sidetrack.
No, go.
Really, really quickly. Have you read the 89 continuation?
No.
I'll lend it to you.
Okay.
So that what they've done is they've taken the whole Burton world,
Yeah.
and done a comic book called
Oh.
called Batman 89 after the
Right.
success of Batman 66, and it
Right,
basically
okay.
just the story of Batman continues. So
Interesting.
everyone's back. Michelle Pfeiffer, it just does that.
Oh, is this the one where it's like it's Scarecrow, Joker, Catwoman on trial?
That's a separate one.
all
Separate
right.
one. But yeah, I'll lend it to you.
Nice.
Interesting.
Sorry.
No, I'm all for it because the love that's coming from that side of the room has not made me feel jealous once at all. No, but it's interesting for me because I know you guys love Beetlejuice so much, and I see why. Like it is so fun. It's just such a fun movie. So I think I was not excited for Beetlejuice. I couldn't
Fair.
give two shits.
Yeah,
I was like,
fair.
yeah, I'll go see it. This has made me excited.
Yeah,
like
good.
I'm kind of really pumped to see it. And I think part of that is I think it's definitely not a family film.
No.
This one. And I appreciate that as like a dog, but I think it's so easy to fall in the trap of like something so whimsical and fun.
Which is funny that
That's kinda fucked up.
they made like a cartoon series
Yeah.
that was very much aimed at kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, the cartoon series has Beetlejuice and Lydia
Yeah.
going on like
Adventures.
adventures together. And you're like, when you realize what Lydia is in this movie and how old she is and,
And
what
you-
Beetlejuice
but
intends to do,
also-
you're like, that's not right.
But
No.
also, Beetlejuice is a whole character.
Beetlejuice
it shouldn't be around, shouldn't be around kids.
crazy.
Yeah.
So like let's rip that band-aid. Beetlejuice is a sex pest.
He's a sex pest.
Hey man, come on! What do you fucking mean? Fuck off!
Yeah.
He is looking under women's skirts. He's trying to hook up with
A
women.
17-year-old girl.
He is trying to hook up with a
Well,
17-year-old.
he's not even trying to hook up with her. He's trying to marry her.
Yeah, well, that's the whole subplot of the film. He's trying to hook up with Gina Davis while Alec Baldwin's around. Like, so he's a sex pest. Now, this is the caveat of all of that. It was the 80s. It's problematic now, but like that was just the humor in the 80s.
I also like as much as it was the humor in the 80s. Anyway, there are a lot of 80s movies that you go, okay.
Have you rewatched
But
Animal House?
And I'm not.
Oh, I got on the 4K restoration. It's beautiful.
It's a great movie, but like
Porky's.
Porky's is a big one. Yeah.
And this isn't me saying like I'm forgiving the film for it, but I'm also like, to me it sticks with Burton's penchant for making
Horniness. Yeah.
characters. It's like this mean thing.
Yeah, there's a
the
mean
characters are
streak
like
to his
there's,
thing,
it's like not every character has to have shades of being light and dark.
Sure.
This is literally a case of like this guy is not like a nice character.
Beetlejuice
but my
inherently
God,
is insufferable.
Yeah. But at the same
it's
time, you're like
funny.
Yeah, and you're like he's so much like, and that's a testament to Michael Keaton that he makes his character watchable and kind of likable.
I would agree.
Even though you're like, what you're doing is categorically
illegal.
yeah. But and I'm not,
There's no laws in hell, I
there's not
guess.
like I'm not like forgiving the film for that, but I'm also like, some characters are allowed to
There's
be.
an element of it you respect, and I
Yeah.
get that. Yeah, for
And
sure.
look, on the back of you going, it was the 80s. I even said to Pete the other day, I was like, fuck, this movie aged so badly. Like there is some, like,
jokes.
some of their some of the jokes are really
100.
bad.
Yeah,
like, one of my
yeah.
ones that one of the jokes that made me like really hard laugh, but it was more of an uncomfortable laugh.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the civil servant joke where where
it's-
Bozo or whatever his name is goes. It's
What
like,
will
you know what
you-
they say,
yeah.
if you kill yourself, you become a civil servant.
And then he looks at-
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
they're in like down like they're in hell,
The
and
waiting
then-
room,
or
yeah.
the waiting room, and she's got to like wrist.
Yeah, and she's like, if I knew that, I wouldn't have had my little accident. And you're like,
Yeah, and you're like, whoa.
She's a pageant girl.
Dark.
I'm just like
Fucking
oh.
dark. But
also-
that's Tim Burton. He, like, look at any of his other films.
Yeah.
That's normal for Tim Burton. I think it's just because this movie has almost the guise of a family film.
Yeah.
You kind of sit there and go like, holy fucking shit.
and
And,
then,
I appreciate it.
And the same thing with like in Mars Attacks, like the little look of like Sarah Jessica Parker, like looking to the camera and
Yes.
stuff. The first, like rewatching this, the first time that I like really burst out laughing, and this is after watching this movie, God knows how many times.
yeah.
Is when Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis return home and they're dead,
Yes.
and they see the book,
Oh, yeah.
and he picks it up and he goes, "Handbook for the recently diseased," and then the music cue comes in, and then she goes, "No, handbook for the recently deceased," and then the music cue comes in again. I was like, those little things are just like that's really fucking
Yeah.
I did laugh a lot at that.
Is Beetlejuice aimed at kids?
I think it's going to be M here. I think.
I don't. Yeah, I feel like
It looks a lot darker.
The only reason why I'm worried about
Sure.
that is because, like, after watching this movie, and it is a very adult themes and adult tones, but also it's like, and this is very much towards us in the community. Like, when movies are being marketed towards kids, when we see a kids movie,
Yeah.
and then right before the movie,
They show that
they
trailer.
show the trailer, and then also
We were shocked that they showed Beetlejuice before something, weren't we?
Despicable Me.
Despicable Me, they showed-
4, they
See, I
showed
didn't-
Beetlejuice
I didn't
before.
go to that.
Beetlejuice,
And then
we were
plus
like,
also children movie premieres are generally on the weekend. The family movies are on the weekend. And
Our screening is on a weekend. In the morning,
In
yeah.
the morning. So anyway,
No, you bring up a valid point.
and
Yeah, you bring up a valid
is
point.
one of the things that also worry me.
Yeah, I don't want to sit in
No,
the
that's
room
fair.
for the kids to watch
I
this.
would be disappointed if the classification board slap a big PG on
I'll be
this.
pissed
I'd be
off.
upset. The
Yeah.
trailer is showing not that. Though.
No.
like,
The trailer does
but
look like
we've
the
seen-
trailer looks quite.
We've seen
dark.
worse get PGs, right?
Would you watch a Beetlejuice movie if it's an hour and a half of solely Beetlejuice? Because you said before that he's
Interesting.
insufferable. And one thing that I've been watching some of the press stuff was Michael Keaton goes, the only reason I said yes to this movie was because
He's a big
because there's enough screen time for me that I think is enough screen time.
Interesting.
Which makes me go, well, if
Is he actually?
See, I didn't find him overly insufferable.
I would say
neither did I.
I would,
That's why I'm putting him in the corner.
let me justify that a little bit. I was thoroughly entertained. I thought Keaton's hilarious, but he is an insufferable. He's intentionally supposed to be insufferable, especially towards Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin's character, right? So I would say I was still very entertained, but I was also intrigued into all the other story of what was happening in the film. I like the idea that these two guys no, we like our house. We're going to scare this shitty family out. And I think it leads to funny. But I love when they are ghosts and they are going around. Oh no, my iPhone's full again. Audio for the rest of the podcast.
That's right. We got our jokes out.
We got that's it. We got I forgot what I was going. Oh, they wear the sheets as ghosts. It's fucking hilarious. Like it's really fun. So I don't think I would have been mad with more Beetlejuice, to be honest. A full 90-minute movie of just Beetlejuice antics probably could wear thin though.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think part of the magic is Keaton being such a force.
Yeah.
Every time he's on screen that you kind of do leave it wanting more of him. And I hope we get, if he's saying what he's saying is true, I hope we get the perfect amount of Beetlejuice in Beetlejuice.
Do we
Beetlejuice. I've
think-
said it 3 times.
I think we get more Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice.
I would say, yeah.
But also at the same time, I expect this to be Jenna Ortega to
Sure.
I feel like
Yeah.
this will be. It'll essentially be kind of like, Winona Ryder's been because at the same time the way we end this movie, Winona Ryder is friends with Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin.
Yep.
So it's obviously she
Where
grew.
the fuck are they as well?
So
It's gonna be a question.
well, the thing is though, they can't play those characters again because they can't age.
Yeah, true. They can't come back, yeah.
Hello.
Also,
have you not seen the technology?
Well, that's the other thing.
Have you not seen Alien Romulus?
Well,
you
I don't.
spoil a new movie.
I don't think
that's right. This
that,
is coming out for another 2 weeks.
I don't
so we're
think that I don't think Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin will be replicated in any way.
Yeah.
Part of me feels like I feel like they'll be referenced.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
Yeah. We'll see a photo.
They'll go on vacation. Here's my creative thing. They're going on vacation because they
Yeah.
love vacation in the spirit
In that
world.
afterlife
In
sort
the
of thing,
afterlife
yeah.
world. Because from the trailer, we're seeing a lot more of the idea of the lore behind Beetlejuice and the
Yeah.
lore of the afterlife
good point.
being really expanded. I reckon that's the throwaway line. You know, we got the throwaway line
Yeah.
of the dad's dead, fuck him
makes
off,
sense.
and then we got Gina Davis and everyone off there.
Do we
And then,
think that the way that so obviously the way that the first one ends,
It's a really fucked up joke. I'll tell you guys after.
the way that the first one ends, do we think the beginning of this movie has Beetlejuice's head coming back to full size? And do you think he's still in the waiting room?
That would be a fun way to do it.
Because his number-
That would be a fun way to do it. Because his number will be coming
Like-
up. Yeah.
No, because yeah.
I feel like the
I-
beginning of this movie should be him sitting in the waiting room, his head finally growing back. And because he was like 99 million or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like
That the time that has passed.
the
is-
time that has
yeah.
passed in the
There's
36
enough
years,
There's enough
he's still
time.
sitting there.
That's
Now he's
funny.
like, I've been called up.
I like that.
I would think, and the way that one of the posters has the numbers and it's written the date that the movie is released.
Yes, that's
So
true.
I feel
actually.
like I'm hoping that they're going to reference that to be the opening of Beetlejuice.
Of that.
Beetlejuice.
But also
like
the time in the spirit world
Yeah.
is also
is much different,
to the real
which is
world.
why Winona Ryder, has aged
Turned
and
into a
has a
woman.
kid and everything.
So 36 years in our world is
Is-
like
could be however long
Yeah.
it takes to get to.
billions of years.
Part of me feels like that would be just a really cool.
that'd be
like,
really
way
I'm
to-
with you. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I
That's a
like
fun
that.
way to open it.
And in the trailer, there's a brief shot of Jenna Ortega and Catherine O'Hara looking like what is part of a dance sequence.
Oh.
Do we think we're getting Harry Belafonte or another song being played?
I just hope that they don't do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
can easily see that they do that for nostalgia.
Yeah, because obviously, because the dinner scene with I can't miss. Oh, what's it called? Deo. The banana song, I think.
banana, yeah.
And then
Great
the
scene.
the ending,
Yeah,
jumping in the line. I was like, those two scenes are like what people remember so much about these films.
Yeah.
Sure. No,
I think a dance sequence would be fun.
I think we do get a bit of nostalgia though.
Yeah,
I think we get.
And it wasn't until rewatching it that I was like, oh, that's why they choose Harry Belafonte, because Alec Baldwin's listening to him at the beginning.
At the beginning of the
It
film.
never, it wasn't something that I was like, why would that song? And then rewatching it, I was like,
Interesting.
Well, I could even see it as, it could be a scene where you've got Winona Ryder's character, where Lydia goes, it's like, oh, hey, there's this, but then Jenna Ortega being a young character,
like it turns it off.
something on.
nah,
Yeah.
fuck you, puts on
And then
something.
gets
Puts
a
a song
song
from the 80s.
Gets a song from
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Whatever the viral dance film.
The Bloody
I haven't
Mary.
seen it. I don't know.
I feel like Jenna Ortega would be like, we are not making any Wednesday jokes in this, because she is like, she's very protective of.
This was
couple of Scream
this was filmed
jokes.
before Wednesday, before she
Yeah,
even,
before
and
she-
it was the
yeah.
reason that Wednesday, that Tim Burton did Wednesday was because of
her, yeah.
Interesting. Well, it's unanimous love for Beetlejuice across the board. I think it's
Yeah.
unanimous.
It's amazing.
Excitement for
What the
Beetlejuice.
fuck?
So yeah, I just want to say that $15 million budget and it made 74 million
Holy
worldwide. So
shit.
it's a bona fide.
And also,
hit. It was a hit.
let's just talk about, this was Tim Burton's second movie.
Yeah, I know.
He
Crazy,
had made
right?
Pee-wee's Big,
Big
Adventure.
Adventure. Yep.
Then he made Beetlejuice.
Yeah. That's
and then
pretty
after
wild, actually, when you
Beetlejuice,
think
let's
about
just
it,
make
yeah.
fucking Batman. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty fucking
Come
crazy,
on.
actually. Yeah.
But also, it's like goes back to the idea of the 80s of who the fuck was around and being established back then.
yeah, 110%.
but also, as we were talking about in the chats for Mars Attacks, as much as there's a few, there is a little bit of CGI
this?
and special
Paul
effects.
Blart Mall Cop.
Oh yeah,
Oh, there's a reason why.
There's a reason why.
Because of
watch
the
movies, so it's my
CGI,
own
we'll
thing
say
anymore.
the stop motion in Beetlejuice is incredible.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's a
Yeah.
stark difference to what he did 8 years
Yeah,
later.
with
in
Mars
Mars
Attacks.
Attacks.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what it looks like now. Like, I'm hoping there's some stop motion elements in Beetlejuice as well.
Judging from the trailer, there definitely is.
Fuck yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
excited.
it's like the sandworms and things.
The
are really making
sandworms,
a
yeah.
big comeback.
I do
I'm
know
glad.
that they, there's the scene where Michael Keaton shows the face to Justin Theroux, and it's very CGI because it's all the
Yes,
snakes, and
yeah.
it's like that doesn't work as well because in Beetlejuice when it's just from behind his
Behind his head.
and you just see the side of it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny.
I thought on the trailer was only from behind.
Yeah, on the trailer. It's
But
really
it
trailer's
just in
from
the
behind.
trailer it just looks way more CGI.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to watch the trailer again.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna have to this.
Well, that's
And I
Beetlejuice.
just hope that I can see it.
Yes, you'll be TIFF bound.
Yeah.
At that point.
Don't
so,
worry, I'll call you and spoil it for you.
Cool. I'll spoil all the movies that I see at TIFF.
Yeah,
Sweet.
you're seeing all of the shit.
like what?
Like what?
Oh,
Oh, don't.
he
mate, don't.
rattled the list off to me, and I got real upset. Oh yeah,
Tell me how.
he's seeing a lot. So that's Beetlejuice. We're very excited to see that across the board, and that's another episode of the Mother Movie Marathon down. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. I'm
Your
glad to
make-a-wish has
finally
come
be.
true.
I'm glad to finally be here, and you know what? I'm so sorry for dragging this off the rails.
No, it's all right.
There we are.
You fit right in.
Beetlejuice into you.
Because we will wrap up because we have to go see Blink Twice. So where do people, if you want to plug your shit,
You
where
can
do you
find me on
you?
Instagram at Mike Gambaro, but realistically, I only came onto this because I wanted to have a chat with two friends.
Stop it.
I don't give a shit about that. I have more clout than both of you combined, you motherfuckers.
It's true.
That's true, yeah,
He was on Beauty and the Geek, if
Yeah.
you didn't know.
And maths next year, anyway.
Are you on maths next year?
I did say that.
Well, I'm leaving that in. Pete, where can they find you?
They can find me watching Maps next year. And Instagram and X at rated PDG, Rotten Tomatoes, Peter Gray, GRAY, the AUreview.com for all of my interviews and reviews. There's some really good shit coming up. And
there's some cool shit
I
coming up.
will also say this episode is being released while I'm in Toronto.
You'll be in Toronto at the Toronto
yeah.
International Film Festival.
Yeah.
Lucky man. And I'm at nicksflicksfix, Instagram, X, Letterboxd, and novastream.com.au for my interviews and reviews, which are somewhat equally as cool sometimes. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
It's showtime.